back to Music Behind the Games. I'm your host, Austin, and today we'll be talking about Journey, the first video game to ever have its soundtrack nominated for a Grammy Award. Journey is probably the highest rated video game that we have ever covered on this show, with 9s out of 10s across the board for almost every video game media site. Hell, Push Square named it the soundtrack of the decade, and the official UK PlayStation magazine named it the fifth best soundtrack of all time. With me today is Andrew.
I'm having a bath of a time.
Well,
You fucked up on saying whatever the fuck you tried to say earlier.
fifth. I
Fifth.
fucked
That's
up
what
on
it was.
fifth.
Sorry. That happened 2 seconds ago and I've already forgot what was going on.
He said when he said Beth, when you said bath, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, fuck. Oh, that's really bad. My
Oh,
memory is
Andrew.
very short.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's not short enough to remember, because it has been a while since you played this game.
It's been like a month.
I know.
I can remember from 2 seconds ago.
We fucking pushed this episode back so far.
Yeah, man. We like what, you wrote this like a month ago.
No, I wrote this way longer than that.
You think? Oh yeah, because I haven't played the game yet since you wrote it.
Yeah, I was writing this expecting you to play it, and then you're like, yeah, I have it downloaded, and then you're like, yeah, I played 5 minutes, then yeah, I'm about an hour through. I'm like, bitch, it's a 2-hour game.
Yeah, it was a
shouldn't
rough
take this long.
start. It was a really rough start. I gotta stop talking over you. I'm super sorry. It was a very rough start. I don't know. I mean, are we gonna talk about our experience with the game overall before we get into the music?
I mean, that was going to be my question, but we're already into it, so I was
Let's
just
do
going to
it.
let it flow.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's a great game, but it was a really rough like first hour. I don't know. It just, I mean, it's like a walking sim to whatever extent it can be. And I think it was just like trawling across the sand or the desert and just trying to find all the like the ribbons and scarves and all that stuff and trying to like hunt down all the pieces that make your scarf bigger.
Yeah.
Which I tried my hardest. And then I only ran into one other person the entire time I played that game.
I only ran into one person too.
Yeah.
The guy I was playing with was stupid.
The guy I was playing with went the opposite way as me, and I was continuing going forward, and he went backwards. I'm like, I'll do each as their own. It's our own journey. But I mean, I'm going the right way, but
I mean, and see, that's the beautiful part about the game, right? Is because in the end of the day, it is your journey, right? And no matter, you can go as like super far with that random person. Like if you meet up at the very beginning, you'll be able to go like pretty much all the way till like you drop down right into the darkness.
that is life.
But yeah, but then it's like but in the end, no matter what, it's your journey. You won't be able to get carried to the end, right? For me, I loved the things you didn't like, the things you found like medial and everything like that. I loved it, right? The whole experience where you're just walking through the sand and everything like that, looking around. The game was beautiful. Like the shell shading is amazing in this game, and right from a game from 2012. It's beautiful. I think it's better looking than most games out today. Um, and yeah, you don't get me wrong. Like it can be quite how do you say it? Boring, for lack of better words, to just kind of walk for a straight line. But like I kind of got like swept up in the whole thing because like I've heard the soundtrack beforehand before playing the game, right? And then like it's been like first played through the game in 2014, and then I recently played through it again early this year. So that's what 7 years. It's been 7 years since I last played through it. So like I went through it with the soundtrack, and I like when the first song's playing when you're walking through the desert, like that whole thing. I just everything, all the research I had done again was just rolling through my head, and I was just excited to get to the next part, to the next part, to the next part.
Well, I mean, I went just not to like I wouldn't say it's the greatest looking game, but I mean for the art style that it has is very beautiful. But yeah, like yeah, the trekking for me was a bit but I don't know, once you like kind of reach like the halfway mark and you start dodging the alien looking motherfuckers that come and try and like take your shit away, that's when it got like really interesting because now it was like a stealth sim where you're trying to
Yeah,
like sneak around and like not get attacked. And I'm like, okay, well, this is a lot like fun. But man, when they find you, they fuck you. Like they are.
I never once got seen.
Oh, I got hit twice. I still managed.
Ooh.
I got hit twice, but like that's why I looked for all the scarf pieces. Scarf
I made it
pieces.
through. The scarf.
Yeah, I was really emphasizing the fuck up I did.
Um, the thing I liked about those alien like kind of mech things is, have you ever watched Disney's Atlantis?
I don't think I'm actually. If I have, it's been a while. I mean, like
Those,
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, the fucking they look just like the mechs they have, like the fucking like cars. I don't know why I did that with my hand, but I did it. Um, but yeah, no, like the way light reflects off of the sand,
Well, there
and
was
the way
one when you're doing the sliding bit and
yeah,
you're looking to like you're going down and you're looking to like the right of the camera and you're looking at the side of your character and you see like the sun glaring and like the orange essence that's around you. Like yeah, that was probably like one of the most beautiful scenes in the entire game. And it really does like it was almost like if ray tracing was involved at that moment, that would have looked like better for sure. But like how much better it would look, I actually couldn't tell you.
well, I mean, like, were they really ray tracing games back in 2012?
No, they weren't. But I'm saying if they were, like, if they were to like remaster Journey with ray tracing,
Oh,
I mean, like, it would look gorgeous for sure. And
I,
then I
s-
think you could actually say that it is probably the most beautiful game out there for sure, for its art
I
style.
just alone, right? And
Yeah.
it's like it's not only beautiful for the graphics and the art style, like the music, like it's a whole situation. Like I said, this did you know this is the first game to ever be nominated for a Grammy Award?
So yeah, when you were doing the intro, I didn't know that. No, that was a
That's
little bit of
it's
a
pretty dope,
surprise.
right?
No, I mean, what category did it? What? Sorry. Oh, really? I didn't know that was in the category at the Grammys. What has won in the past? I wonder then.
I don't know. So,
Well, I was just
it's been a while
curious.
since I did my research here.
Well, it's been a while since I've ever watched a Grammy. So,
Okay.
but yeah, you don't need to look it up. I was just,
Doing it right now.
oh, are
Screw
you?
you.
Are you
It'd be
seriously? Well,
it'd be entertaining.
hi everybody. It's me who normally hosts any other show we do, but I don't have to host today, so I get to talk smack about everybody. I'll start with Nolan. Now that sick motherfucker and his
Yeah.
hand feels. It just
And
trademarked, by the
feels.
way. We actually
Yeah.
have hand feels trademarked.
You have it trademarked? What?
No, I don't. I don't.
Oh.
It's a Nolan slogan, which is trademarked. Nolan slogan. Oh my god. I'm so glad he said that one day. That was the best thing in the world. Hand feel. Now just everything I just think of feel. I'm like, this is too much. I enjoy Journey. I'm surprised there hasn't been a sequel. That's for sure.
Well, because there's no real reason to. It's like an art house game. Like if they put a
Yeah,
sequel in, it'd be kind of like ruin the whole situation.
maybe sequel was the wrong word, but like a successor perhaps would be better.
Oh,
Like
there's other like games out by them.
yeah, but and nothing. Like I mean, when I listen to a lot of different video game
Okay.
podcasts, and
So in the
I hear Journey so much. So I mean, this was kind of a cause to play it.
so, um, they got their nomination for the 55th annual Grammys in the category of Best Soundtrack for Visual Media.
Wow, what has won in the past? Does it tell you? I'm just curious. If you have that in front of you, sweet. If you don't, that's fine. What was it against? Maybe that's a better question. Does it tell
The
you that? Sorry,
artist and Hugo.
like it doesn't tell you like oh, like that. Those are the other songs.
Those are the other soundtracks that it went up against during
Oh, okay. I've
that
never heard
year.
either of those ones. So
You never watched Hugo?
I don't think I've watched Hugo.
Oh, wow. Fuck. All
Yeah.
right.
I was looking to see if the cannabis shop was still open right now, but it's not because we were talking about weed earlier.
Yeah, brother. Nah, I'm bringing all my good shit.
Yeah. I have not watched Hugo. No.
Well,
Definitely not.
I don't expect you to watch the artist because the artist is kind of like really art house. Um,
Yeah. This is as far as artistic I get is with this podcast.
so Jojo Rabbit won 2020. A Star is Born It won 2019. The Greatest Showman won 2018. La La Land won 2017.
For greatest
Mile,
soundtrack? Oh, because they're movies, right? Yeah. Okay. Fuck.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So
Right.
that's why it's cool because it's the first time because video games don't get like attention during classical media, right? So that's why it's really interesting and dope because um, video games have been an art form for a long time because they're an expression of self and journey and stories, right? But the Academy's never really seen that.
Well, I would say that. I mean, they video games don't get attention in mainstream media a ton, that is for sure. But like, when E3 happens or Gamescom is happening next week or this week, and so uh, like they do get mainstream media during those times. But like, no, for like other awards other than like the Game Awards or whatever awards else are coming out that like is kind of very
Mhm.
minuscule to like huge Hollywood things. Yeah, fair enough. No, it doesn't actually get that much attention in that aspect.
But, so we got quite sidetracked there, so I'll try to reel us back in here. Andrew,
Yes.
do you know what the 4 songs we'll be playing today?
I actually do know because I had to search them up.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about the man behind the soundtrack, Austin Wintery.
Oh man,
Uh,
so a better
and
Austin than you.
I made that just for the record. I made that joke before we started recording.
And just for the record, I put it on the record.
Neons will be up first, then followed by the Road of Trials, Descent. We'll be finishing off with Apotheosis.
I'm gonna try. No one hold it to me, but I'm gonna try really hard to work those all into sentences through this episode.
I'm gonna hold it to you.
And not in the term, but as they're like, super sorry if everyone heard that loud motorcycle go by. I'm gonna use that in terms of like like not saying we're gonna talk about nuances. I'm gonna like try and use it really hard to a word as like a pun.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
okay,
I'm gonna
okay.
try. I'm gonna try.
All right, so you'll have a little bit because we're only talking about Wintery right now. So Austin Wintery was born in Denver, Colorado in 1984.
You know what? It's
Uh,
very wintry there.
hey Bones, can you put like crickets during that quiet part for me, please?
A moment of silence.
Yeah. um, you threw me off so bad.
Sorry, it was a good one. It was a good one. As much
No,
as
it
you
was
want
a
the
horrible
crickets,
one.
as much as you.
No, it
Hey, I'm
was
laughing.
horrible.
You're laughing. I
I'm
get it.
laughing
It's
because of the
mediocre.
awkward situation.
Make it mediocre. Oh fuck.
All right, so Wintery was born in Denver, Colorado in 1984 and started learning piano when he was 10 years old. And in an interview with Nerd Reactor, he states, I was very lucky to discover music through the lens of composition when I was around 10 years old. And so basically, from that moment, I dreamt of pursuing a career in music. I discovered the Jerry Goldsmith canon of film scores at that age, thanks to my childhood piano teacher, and basically tried to position all of my life's decisions from that point forward around making this career possible. So it's kind of cool how he just like immediately knew he was like, I'm going to be a composer, right? Just after discovering his love for music.
Well, I mean, it's a tough ceiling to break for anybody, and being able to be that ambitious to be like, this is what I'm gonna do for a living, and go through and do it is remarkable on its own.
hmm Um, it's kind of funny because like some people just kind of have it fall in their lap, like cause the lost episode, Final Fantasy VII when we did
Fuck, we gotta find that episode.
yeah, when we did fuck what his
Yeah, it was
name?
Final. Yeah, that was Final Fantasy VII. We did.
Yeah, it was Final Fantasy VII, but I forgot the composer's name.
Oh shit! I'm sure it's actually literally in the chat that you're in right now on
I had to
Discord.
scroll up so high though.
Oh yeah, man, it's months away. So, but yeah, the composer of Final Fantasy VII. I mean, you can just do that.
He
Very
kind of had
professional
it
friend
just
of his
like
name.
I know that's why I feel
I'm
so
kidding.
embarrassed.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm being a dick.
It kind of just like fell into his lap, right? Because Final Fantasy was like not a lot. Nobuo Uematsu. it kind of just fell into his lap. Like he was just kind of working at like a record store, and this small game company was like, "Hey, like let's like can you like create something for us for like our final game?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course." And it became such a big hit, right? But like you're not kidding, for somebody just to kind of just know immediately, be like, "This is what I'm going to do with my life." I think that's very impressive.
I think it's hella impressive. There's lots of things I want to do with my life, and I don't have like half the ambition to do any of them. And to be young and that ambitious, not that I'm old, but to be young and ambitious to the part where you've committed your time and life to anything, I think speaks loudly to a lot of people. Being, if you put in the work and the effort and you have the ambition to do it, I mean, you can do it, right? It's like that
Mm.
phrase where like your parents come up to you and say, "Well, you can do whatever you want when you grow up." That's true. You can do whatever you want when you grow up. You got to be willing to put in the work for it.
Oh, at the
And
time.
yeah, or well, even not at the time. I mean, as much as as you got to put work into it, being able to just like work towards it is good enough, right? Like over a year, like I don't.
Whenever when everybody's a kid, they want to be an astronaut. I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to be an astronaut overnight. It's going to take time.
Well, I mean, I never wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid. I don't know what I
Wow.
wanted to be when I was a kid. I think I wanted to be a game developer when I was a kid, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was younger, I totally wanted to develop
Oh,
games. I was really into
man.
it, but I'm
Yeah,
not.
I
I'm
wanted
not.
to be a beagle.
You want to be a vehicle?
Beagle.
Well, fuck.
Man, being a dog's life seemed so easy at the time. Like they just laid around, did nothing all day. It sounded pretty fucking sweet to me.
What do you do all day?
Lay around, go to sleep all the time.
Don't you just shit, eat, and play video games?
There's some other stuff in there.
8 hours of work where you shit, eat, and play video games?
Nine. Most of the time, it's 9 to 10 hours of work a day, but
Yeah. Didn't you
sucks.
pass out at work one time and just like slept for
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Andrew is kind of just, just talking out of his ass. I would never do that. I'm a responsible man.
First off, no one knew where you worked until you said it, but whatever. We'll move on.
Jonah, can you cut that out, please?
Jonah, can you please leave this entire conversation in?
No.
It's too good to cut out.
Fuck.
Yeah, that was good. Good rant. Anyways, moving on.
So when I was doing research on him, apparently it was pretty hard to find like actual information about his job. He doesn't like to really talk about how he got into music or how this happened, right? He's a very down to earth guy, kind of likes his private life. But one of the cool things that I was able to find through my searches was an interview with Destiny Gaming. He was asked what are some of his favorite game genres to compose for, and some that he would wish to do in the foreseeable future. And his answer was, honestly, I love them all, but particularly, I love it when it's very hard to define which genre something is in. When games cross pollinate and experiment, I get most excited for that. The goal for me in general is to always do something I feel is I haven't done before, and cliche genres pieces tend to make that hard. And I really like that because he's like he'd rather, instead doing something easy and get an easy paycheck, he wants to do something cool and something he's
Different.
never done before. Yeah, exactly. So if you're a video game developer and have an interesting idea, you know who to call.
No one say Ghostbusters. No one say Ghostbusters. No one say
No,
Ghostbusters.
no, 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 no.
All right. I said
So
nobody reference Ghostbusters.
yeah, but by bringing up Ghostbusters, you've already referenced them.
I said no one reference Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters, not Go Busters.
Go Busters!
That's
Now
a
that we
great
have
name for a beagle.
now that we have a slight understanding of the man, let's get into the music, starting with Yance. Neons was the first track Wintery composed for Journey. Written to establish the main musical motif of the game, instead of using different compositions for different characters or locations, the entire soundtrack was drawn from one singular music theme, and that's the theme you're listening to now. Which was then fleshed out clearly in this song. So in other words, Andrew, the entire soundtrack stems off of Neons.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is kind of like the first song you hear, is it not? In like the entire soundtrack? Yeah. So what was it? Like this is basically like the main menu song to some extent when you start the game.
Yes, this is like this also plays right when you first go into your character and start walking in the desert.
Yeah, because I'm asking you for reassurance because it's been over 2 seconds since I played this game, so I've already forgot about it.
But cool note about this song is when Journey's creative director Genova Chen went to Wintery and pitched his idea. Wintery came up with Neons in 3 hours. You fucking believe that shit?
That's
like, you know what I can do in 3 hours?
Well, we've been over that.
Literally. You're not wrong.
Buddy, this is the best callback I've had in any episode.
Fuck. You know, like it's just you're such an asshole.
So funny.
Oh, fucking Christ.
Right.
But like the really cool thing is, the 3 years the game was in development, this song never changed.
So he literally wrote 3 hours of the song and it stayed the same.
I wrote the song in 3 hours and it never changed once.
That's impressive.
Pretty fucking cool.
I mean, like, I've wrote a 50-page paper and I've had to change it like 100 times, and that took me 3 hours.
Yeah. I don't want to think about the amount of time it would take me. It'd be scary.
It was crunching 3 hours.
So in Neons, there are two main instruments used: the cello and what. The flute here didn't sound like a flute to me, but I have flute here, so Past Austin probably knows best. The rest of the instrument,
whatever. Yeah, no, I don't know if that was a flute
either. It sounded more like some sort of wood instrument, like maybe like a clarinet or something like that.
Well,
but
wood instrument would classify a flute. Just yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
The rest of the instruments are supported by strings and percussion, but the cello represents the player character. Like the lone instrument, the player is dumped into a sea of sand with no instructions and just a pull towards a mountain in the very distance. The rest of the tune preps you for your literal journey. Andrew, what did you get from this song? Or was it too subtle that you didn't even catch it when you first played through it?
Well, I wouldn't say I didn't catch it because, like I said, there wasn't a ton of things to do in that game, which kind of makes you almost focus on the music. So yeah, like you notice it. It's just more of like I guess maybe that's why too. Like, you know, music has a huge impact on the game you're playing, and so I got going back to the whole cannabis conversation we had earlier. If you're like fucked out of your mind, playing this game is probably the most relaxing thing in the world.
Oh, I'd fall asleep so fast.
I mean, like, honestly, like, you're not dodging anything, you're not getting attacked. The music's very chill, it's relaxing, and you're just tracking through the sand. Like, there's nothing. I'm talking about the first song. I'm talking about the first song.
Okay. Well, there's moments in this game.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's scary moments when you have to dodge nasty looking motherfuckers. But anyways, yeah. So it's very chill and start when you like are just going through the sand. There's the mountain. You're trying to get to the big mountain, and you're just walking through. And I mean, yeah, it's noticeable for sure because it's kind of almost one of the few things in the entire game you focus on. And I feel like I'm really downselling this game, but if you've never played Journey before, it's definitely a game to play.
Well, it's like that's the reason like I was harassing you and I refused to do this episode with you until you actually played the game.
And I was the only
Right?
one that could play the game.
You're the only one who could play the game, right? Um, because it's kind of reminds me of Undertale, not in like the way the game is played or the story of the game, but it's an experience that you should experience for yourself, right?
Definitely get really high. If you can, in whatever state,
Get really
country,
high.
and or wherever you live.
I mean,
Legally,
like, I wouldn't even do that. Like I said, I played through it. I played through it like probably 3 or 4 times. I even played through it once more to kind of get refreshed with it.
Okay, but the key question is, were you high?
Not once.
I don't believe you in any shape or form.
Well, just because
I
I get
feel-
high a lot, but no. But so before we get too sidetracked of my drug uses,
It's
another
legal here,
cool
it's fine.
another cool note is actually in the name Nascence itself, which means being born or coming into existence for the first time. Now, even though this is also known as the main theme of the game, the only place it plays is during the opening level, as I had said before. So the song literally means the start of the game, the start of your journey.
You know what I did today? I announced Diablo 2.
There you go. Right?
One down. Technically 2 down because I use Winters really well too. Or Wintery.
Oh, you did? It was horrible. That's why it was
2
funny.
down. Fuck you, I counted it.
The amount of times I say have Journey in the script, fuck, is this gonna get old quick?
That game.
Just Journey in here a lot.
You should use synonyms of Journey through this the rest of the podcast. Adventure.
My
Quest.
No, because it's not called Adventure Quest.
We're good to go for anyone who's
All right.
showed up.
So the next song we're actually going to be covering is by far my favorite song in the entire game. Like more than Apotheosis, which is apparently like the quintessential. And like just things because it's the breath of fresh air in a more melancholic soundtrack, you know. But don't get me wrong, it's supposed to be. I mean, you're traveling through the ruins of a long-forgotten kingdom, shifting through sands, trying to find your way through and learning the history of the world. You have the pleasure of seeing and making your way through. Rota Trials plays through the most beautiful level where you're surfing the sands and the melody picks up with a more exciting tone for a high point in the game and the most memorable scene in the game. And I'm not joking here. I had through the entire time that we were sliding down that thing, I had a shit-eating grin. I was so happy, right? It was just like the whole experience, man. Like all the different like cloth creatures that you had just released, right, from the vortex. Right, they're like kind of like sliding with you, and then you can like jump off them, and they give you more recharge for your jump. And like, there's multiple branching paths that you can take. It's just like, oh, I could gush about this for hours, man. It's perfect.
How about we let everyone listen to it for a few minutes?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm excited.
The Rota Trials, everybody. Quite a nice song.
Yeah, right. It's just nice, you know.
Sorry, it was really glitchy for some people.
Like when I'm off in like La La Land, just hanging out, you know, I would probably listen to this. This is just awesome. It's just nice, fun music. So the track isn't just an adrenaline rush, though. The Road of Trials also contains some more calm moments in the game, in the gameplay when the gameplay kind of like levels out, and the track manages to keep the level grounded with solemn undertones. Like, I mean, you are surfing through a city swallowed by the desert. Right? There's buildings and like arches that you can go under. Like they're like it's literally like a long dead society. Um, and Wintery went on to explain the solemn tone in the Journey soundtrack commentary. Well, it's a really interesting listen too. Like, I don't usually listen to commentaries, but like just hearing his thought process on everything was just really interesting, especially on YouTube because you can actually find all of the commentary on YouTube. He even has like pictures like of fan art that people have made for the game and like concept art as well, which is really cool. Um, so even though the energy in this track is meant to match the visceral fun of the sand surfing, Genova Chen always wanted to be sure that we never lost sight the slight tinge of sadness. The canyon is made up of ruined buildings, so subtle poignancy must never be lost. Even in the excitement, he had also this to say about the musicians. The first exposed use of the orchestra in the game. Despite how lyrical most of Tina's cello solos are, so Tina was the main cello throughout this entire soundtrack. She can also play with monstrous energy. This entire track is one big showpiece of her awesomeness. Likewise, Amy on her flute and Carissa on her harp show magnificent agility in these fast sections. So Andrew, what do you think of this?
Well, I was gonna say, first off, we had a huge discussion whether there's flutes in this song in the last song. Well, I mean, I would say that there probably is now, given the fact that there's
Yeah.
a flute in this song. It's a lot more high energy compared to like what we listened to before, where you could get baked and pass out. This is a lot more like energetic, and you're on the move. There's a lot there's a lot happening. You have a quest and a goal. You're a lot more energetic in that sense, and so I think that gives the game and yeah. So like you're going through the sands and stuff like that, and you're starting to like find those people who like those ribbon looking animals that like call to each other and stuff like that, and it just makes the game pick up from where you were before in a sense that you've got more to do. There's like you're more engaging, I think, is probably where, and that's maybe more to me than anyone else, but I find the song a lot more engaging in the sense that you've got somewhere to go, something to do, and you got a quest to complete.
Well, that makes sense. Um, but I mean, like that's just the style, right? Like the reason why this is more upbeat because this is part of the two sliding sequences in the game, right? Where it's a more you actually have more to do, right? It's not just puzzles and everything like that. You actually have destination. Like if you run into the pillars, you don't get hurt or anything like that, but you do can like slow down. You lose all momentum, and that kind of takes away from some of the fun.
I don't think I've smashed into a single pillar,
Uh, it,
so I'm gonna say I'm proud of myself on that one.
I seen a jump that if you once you get to the top, you can actually jump over, and then you'll be able to like float over it a bit, depending how long your scarf is, and then you can go over, and then it'll take you to a different route. And I seen it last second, and I tried to go over there, but then I ran into a post.
I totally know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I mean, like, I don't know. Sorry, I should rephrase that. I know what you're talking about. I don't know the particular jump you're talking about because there's a few of them through the game that you run into.
yeah. But, Rota Trials is also the track that plays when the player reaches one of the most iconic shots in the game.
Oh, I know which one this is.
We talked about it before, where the light was reflecting off the sands and everything like that. And the shot was inevitably used for the album art for the soundtrack. Just for a fun note for you there, Andrew. The mountain at sunset. This scene is art by any means of the word. It is beautiful. The way the sun reflects off the sand, bathing the environment in luscious oranges as the camera turned to face the sunset. There's only two things you can see clearly: your character and the mountain. and it's getting closer. Your ultimate destination is there. You're getting closer and closer, and it almost has like an otherworldly appearance. And you have a date with Destiny, and you're getting closer, right?
I was just gonna say, is you said it was the photo art for the, or it was
Soundtrack.
the, yeah. So like, where do you see, like, is that like on YouTube or just like in stores? Sorry, I just
So if you look up the soundtrack for this game, it is actually the picture you used
oh,
they
that's
used for
interesting.
the
I know, I
soundtrack.
didn't know that. I was just curious, like, like when you refer soundtrack, like where you see it. That's all. So no, that's super. No, that's super cool because it is a beautiful section of the game. I actually, if if the game serves right, that's definitely the scene I remember the most of the entire game. Compared to the ending, of course.
Well, I was gonna say Apotheosis is pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, well, just the ending is very memorable for sure. But through your journey, if you're not too high, you just remember a lot of that. You know, you remember that section of the game incredibly well because it's beautiful scenery. It's a lot of fun. Um, it's not that long, which is surprising, but it
That's
feels long.
shorter. Well, it's because
Like you enjoy it so much that it feels like it's extended. You know what I
like
mean?
I've whenever they did it in movies, whenever they're like you come up upon a memory, you know, and it like puts a smile on your face, like for, in movie scenes and everything like that. I've never had that before, but when I was reading that, I was smiling the entire time just because I was remembering the whole course, man. Like it's so nice, man.
I don't know if there's ever been a moment in video games where I've actually like generally was like happy with what I was doing.
That's a sad life.
I don't know. I just don't know if something's hit me that emotionally well in video games to. I'm an old school gamer.
Oh yeah, I'm old school. I'm grizzled.
It's
I'm a
more
veteran.
hey, do you know what I'm looking forward to most that most people are probably not is Metal Slug Tactics. I love Metal Slug, even
All
though
right,
it's
okay.
actually Metal Slug is not that old of a game. Just
What
FYI for
was that
everybody.
game? Armored Wars or whatever?
Advance Wars. Fuck off.
Advance. Yeah, you know what game I'm most excited for? Advance Wars.
Okay, so yeah, but have you played
Literally
Metal Slug?
everybody else on the podcast is like, "You suck."
Oh fuck, man, that game's amazing. You know what? When this Discord rant, you know what? I'm gonna make a particular channel for Advance Wars for Discord when the game comes out. I'm gonna show you all of you.
Yeah, I'll show you all.
I'll
How
show
dare you
you
make
all.
fun of my favorite game?
We're gonna have a mutiny on on the Discord channel.
Mutiny, you're the one in charge.
Kick you all out. Make new moderators.
The one rule: don't make fun of Advance Wars.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be in there.
Oh, sorry. All right, so back to the fucking Journey soundtrack. Actually, this song I chose here, it just kind of fit thematically for the types of music I was choosing, like cherry picking for from the soundtrack. The
What do you
next
mean
song
cherry picking?
actually,
There's so many songs. Sorry, I'm trying really hard not to interrupt people. It's a new thing. It's hard.
I because Andrew, because I cherry picked certain songs that fit the themes of the game perfectly,
Mm,
right? And
that's a
because
good
we
description,
since we can't do every single song, I
which we
kind of
should.
yeah, we probably should,
Welcome to the
but
4 hour special.
Journey, let's go.
Yeah, every single
Uh,
fucking song.
so the Descent is the next song, and actually takes place right after the Road of Trials. So after you get through the iconic scene where you're sliding down and like the sun's reflecting off the sands and the camera turns sideways so you can face the mountain, right? You get there and there's a jump where you just so you think your character is actually gonna have so much momentum that's gonna fly off, but you actually fall into a pit of blackness.
Let's have a listen.
Descent is the first time you actually feel danger. The first time they drop enemies into the mix. Andrew, do you remember this level?
Yeah,
How
who
the
the
music,
fucking are? Forget this.
how the music pulled something out of a horror movie and made the Guardians feel like a credible threat.
All right, again, I'm sorry for interrupting your sentence.
No, no problem.
I'm trying very, very hard. I'm just used to hosting, I guess. Yeah, no, I mean, this isn't the first time that like I got attacked in a game, as I referenced earlier in the podcast. It's super sorry for everyone listening to that. Um, it was the first time that you felt like the game changed. So it was like going from like what we've listened to earlier, which is basically so following the whole theme of the game and or soundtrack that we've talked about, I guess maybe might be better. But going through like the whole theme of the game where it was like happy, like it was chill, happy, adventurous, and then you get to hear where it was just like, oh, okay, so something isn't something is gonna like something bad's gonna happen, and you
Something's
actually
not right.
yeah you felt out of place in a sense that you felt as though you are in danger and that something isn't right in the environment that you're in, and that's when you run into the first mechanic which you see come alive in front of you. And when you play the game, it doesn't explain that to you. It doesn't tell you you're in danger. It actually also it gives you a false sense of security
Um,
where you think you're okay until this point.
well, and see, like, I like the way they did it too, because there's no like pop up screen like, hey, these these giant monolithic like leviathans aren't going like they're gonna fuck you up, right? Um, there's a scene where I don't know if you remember. There's like those scarf pieces that you pick up. They're
Yeah.
usually like floating there in the wind, right?
Yeah.
And the when the Leviathan like goes over, the light locks down on it because for those who haven't played the game yet, the Guardians, they're just float giant like I said, Leviathans floating in the sky, and all they have is a spotlight. The moment they catch you, the spotlight turns bright red, and it like zaps off a part of your scarf. Right?
Yeah. It doesn't give you
Um,
warning either. And then you
doesn't
shoot
even give you
yourself.
warning, just like fucking like that, really quick. And the way
Which
they
you
did it was actually really cool. Is the fucking light turns red once it hits the scarf, zaps it once, and then you're like, oh, probably shouldn't get caught by that.
Yeah, and but the thing is though is it still gives you that false sense of security when you go through it the first time because it's so easy to dodge. And then I mean, we'll get to it I'm sure later, but when you're finally like kind of going up the snow mountain and you hit the snow from going like you're kind of underwater, and then you go into the snow mountains and spoilers alert, and you hit the snow. It's when
What? You don't get to the mountain? What are you talking about? That's
yeah,
spoilers.
fuck. It changes to where it's a lot easier to get caught at that point. Like
Yep.
and you gotta you I mean it's an homage. It's a different genre, it's a different game, but it's an homage to older games where there's a pattern and they follow a particular pattern. You got to watch them a few times, you see where they go and what they're going to hit, and then you go and follow suit opposite to what they're going to do to avoid getting caught, which was my problem the first time.
Oh, you actually got caught.
I got caught twice.
Twice. Oh
Yeah.
man,
Thank
fake
God my
gamer
scarf
here,
was long
guys.
enough. Good thing I was one of those guardians with a long scarf, if you know what I mean.
You weren't a guardian. The Guardians or
Or
the
whatever. I was the thing with
the
a long
Leviathans.
scarf.
But
You're not
uh,
a guardian. Sorry. I don't
that's
know.
not
That's funny.
Destiny. What are you doing?
It's not funny. I'm a
So
warlock in that game.
yeah,
That's
I
all I
was a
remember.
warlock main, but
That's all I remember. Doesn't matter.
I just got so tired of Bungie taking every significant thing I had. Alright. So, Descent marks the first time that the soundtrack actually has been dark.
Ominous,
And
for sure.
yeah,
Sorry,
ominous,
again, trying really
exactly.
hard.
Well, actually, no, that was actually quite helpful because that's a much better word.
Yeah,
Um,
dark works too.
and that's just due to the introduction of the Guardians. And like I said, for those who don't know, the Guardians are these robotic leviathans that patrol. I have petrol here. Uh,
who petrol the world and cause
yeah,
climate change.
yeah, fuck. Who patrol the level and a few levels after this one, and essentially they're just like I said, roaming spotlights that once they find you, they rip half of your scarf off in one blow. So don't try to get caught.
If anyone wants to know what a leviathan looks like, just because he's used that word a lot, and I feel like it's not a word used in everyday language.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, how often do you have a conversation and be like leviathan?
So
You're having those conversations.
I,
Good for you. You have a
I
high IQ group. I'm
no,
not
it's
dissing
not.
the word.
It's not high IQ group. I play a lot of D&D, and there's a lot of leviathans and dragons and shit like
Just
that
I
in
just kind of
that game. All right.
feel like we're the podcast with a glossary. Anyways, it's basically a sea serpent. Just to clarify
Yeah.
to everybody, it's a giant sea serpent. Sorry, that was super funny. Don't even know why. It really wasn't, but it's super funny to me.
So Wintery elaborates this on his YouTube commentary, the one I mentioned before. It couldn't ever feel like chase music. It had to be more like you were being hunted. Tension, not action. In hindsight, it seems obvious, but it wasn't at the time. Um, Also, the gameplay evolved here more than almost anywhere else, despite deviations present in this track. Descent is still kept musically consistent through the main musical theme. Every melody in the score is a variation of the one musical theme. Nouns, and Descent is no different. As Wintery put it, despite the shift in tone and danger, Journey is only about one thing. That one thing is reaching the top of the mountain, no matter what may stand in the player's path.
Why did you read that so like drastically, as though it was like different than like the rest of your speech? I'm very close to my microphone. I'm super sorry for everyone with that gain.
Well, Andrew, because
I have a laptop. The words are so much bigger.
yeah, it's so much I can actually read. But
well,
no,
I mean, let's not shoot a shot before we actually win the goal. You know what I mean?
I was just like I said, I just want to add a little more drama into it, but you had to call me out.
Sorry.
See, this is why I prefer doing this show with Nolan, because Nolan's just happy to be there.
I'm happy to be here. I just find it funny, and I like comedic relief in a show. Really hot.
God damn it. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I had about the Descent.
I think just to clarify, I think it's a great song. Like, I mean, I think it's like the most opposite song to the rest of the game.
It stands out.
It definitely stands out. But it's so opposite. And like I was saying earlier, right? Like that first hour, you're kind of like, yeah, and then the second hour, like things start to pick up. And this is where it starts to pick up, right? Where actually, that's a lie. It kind of picks up when you reach that first tower that you have to kind of go through and free all those weird creatures looking things.
Yeah, all like the magic carpet creatures.
It kind of picks up there too, which is just a little before this. But
technically, it was right before Rota of Trials. That's the scene that happened right before Roads of Trials.
Is it? Because I thought Rota Trials happens when you like first release those things, or no?
Oh, so there's the spinning tornado thing, right? Where you got to release them. You got to kind of hop up the tower and hit stuff and like use your talking powers. Okay, so just
like
so
your double
for
jump,
those,
basically, like your special jump that you get with your second scarf.
Well, not even that. Like, so when you like hold down the talk button, when you hold down the talk button and it like things, aura burst.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so those who don't know, there's no talking in this game. Like, if you run into somebody, you can't just plug in your mic and just be able to be like, "Oh, hey, Andrew, I fucking stumbled upon you, bud. How's it going?" Right? You can only talk through like musical instruments, like little keys. Like you can like do one big like fucking aura, or like just a bunch of like spamming like do 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 do. Like I'm actually when Morse I say code. That, yeah, it's theoretically you could do Morse code with it, but that'd take a long time. Do you really find that funny? You almost fucking spit out your beer.
Actually, it carbonated in my throat as I was drinking it.
But I like it. it's still not my, like I said, it's not my favorite song in this in the whole soundtrack. I love
Really?
Road of Trials. I love the Road of Trials so much compared to every other song in the soundtrack.
This might prove me to be a darker person than you.
Oh, I guarantee you, you're a darker person than me. So the next song, Andrew, is what many people consider the crescendo of the game.
Crescendo.
Apotheosis.
Are you gonna define crescendo for me?
One second. One second.
It's crescendo. Crescendo, the loudest point reached in a gradually increasing sound. The point engine sound rose to crescendo. That's the sentence.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the loudest, most meaning. Well, I mean, it's the gradually increasing sound. It's the loudest sound of the game.
Yeah. This is the scene.
Crescendo.
This is what takes place
So-
after. Spoilers for those who don't know. You don't make it to the mountain.
Whoa! You don't tell people that.
Well, fuck! It's the whole
No,
point
you
of the
just-
song.
You let them know that they failed until they actually get there. That's the point of the game, is to know that failure is not the end. That's your journey. Why are you looking so serious?
Anyway.
I said that so sincerely too.
Yeah, you did.
I'm really proud.
Actually, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
That was really nice.
I didn't mean any of it, but it's fine.
After you get
I mean, it's true, but I didn't mean any of it.
So after you get frozen, after losing what little left of your scarf, you're surrounded by what only I can assume by your ancestors. And they give you the power to rise through the storm and see a beautiful...
Hold up. I just want to point a caveat to this whole scenario. Just so everyone knows that there's a ton of graves around you when you reach this point. When you fail, it's not like anyone around you is not the memorable place that they failed, which is what I thought when I reached this point.
It should have been.
I thought it was
should have
super
been
iconic if it was.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was not. I also feel like there's a caveat to this game being like, if you have not played this game, don't listen to anything I said before this. Which is funny because you already listened to it. But anyways. Go on.
So, well, what I can only assume is your ancestors, and they give you the power to rise through the storm and see the beauty buried beneath. In a powerful moment, you rise and fly through the clouds as guardians are trying to stop you. You end up in the final area at the top of the mountain.
Do they actually try to stop you?
They're like all the lights turn red as you're flying up, and they're trying to
the
like
guardians or the Leviathans.
Leviathans are called the guardians. I've stated this so many times.
Apparently not enough to me, but fair enough. I thought the guardians were was like the white person that you like run into every time you hit a checkpoint.
Those are your ancestors.
Okay.
Yeah. Wintery reports the accents, the accent sequence changed a lot during the course of production. As such, I wrote many different versions trying to capture both excitement, but as well as the spiritual evolution.
Do we want to listen to the song, or are we going to go into the conversation?
I mean, we can.
Let's do it. Let's listen to some tunes.
Yeah, that's the point of the podcast. Right here, actually, you're not kidding. You're not wrong. It actually picks up as you like finally get through the cloud barrier, and it's beautiful. Instead of like a sea of sand, it's a sea of clouds, and you're jumping from like peak and you're landing on some of those carpet creatures as they carry you to your destination. It's awesome. I think it's one of the most beautiful scenes possible.
You know, it's yeah. I think it's no. I do think it's.
Is it the crescendo now, Andrew? After you're talking shit earlier.
You know what's funny, and here's breaking the fourth wall to a lot of listeners, is that I thought I was actually like making the song lower and lower, and I don't know if it was lower and lower to you, or did it just was it stagnant at a level?
It seemed to stay at the same kind of
Yeah, so
sound
it's
to
gonna be a
me.
lot of editing at the end because I really fucked that up, but that's fine. We'll move on.
Oh,
I don't think it was the most crescendo song. Actually, I actually think maybe even the song we did before, or even the song before that, actually with
the
with
Rota
the Rota
Trials.
Trials. I think even that was maybe a crescendo of the song where it was really high pitched. But I mean, for being the song that it was, and in the state of the game that you are, and where you are in your journey, it's the most meaningful song
Hmm. Well, see, I think
because
that's what he meant by crescendo.
I'm surprised he used the word crescendo. He used the word crescendo. I thought you used it.
That's what I and the one of the many footnotes I got my information for used it as well.
Just to be a crescendo. I mean, we're having a debate over the word crescendo, but I think it's more of a. I don't think it's a crescendo. I guess is probably the best way I'm going to describe what I'm saying, because I'm not going to look up a word that means what I'm trying to say. But I think what it is it's a huge turning point in the game. It's a huge memorable and emotional state in this game that you experience, where when everything seems to end, where everything seems to die, where you feel you have failed, you have not. You have made it through the forest, you have made it through the darkness, you see the light, and you have advanced to the point where you advance to the point where you need to be, where you're at the top of the mountain, you're at peace and salvation. And I think the song reflects that when it picks up into like a demeanor where it's quiet and low, and then it picks up to be something more energetic, something more
Powerful.
powerful, where you've shot through the clouds, and in essence your spirit or life lives on, and you continue your journey, or I mean, in a sense, you've found the ending of your journey, right? Where I think the game, I mean, we'll already talk about what the game means in the end, but yeah, you continue on with what you started with.
I mean, I won't say we're going to talk about the what the game means at the end, because I think it's different from person to person, right? Like
But
the
I think the
basic
message is the
premise,
same.
yeah, the basic premise is like that journey, even no matter how hard the journey is, it's always worth it by the time you get to the end, right? Now, Andrew, if you remember the first song, Neons, how it never changed through the development of Apotheosis. Uh, Through the development cycle, Apotheosis was completely opposite, proving to be the hardest part of the entire development cycle. Wintery even stated, "I got immensely frustrated and even began to genuinely fear that I might end up ruining the game, or at the very least hold it back from achieving all it could be." He apparently finished the song 2 weeks before the game was finished. Um, and Andrew, I can kind of understand his worry. The the landing is often hardest to stick.
Well, I think it's difficult when the song is done, the game isn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like one of the cool factors of this game that they don't do very often is usually the soundtrack is made in one corner, right, and the game development's in the other, right. The game was made around the soundtrack.
Well, then why would he feel like he ruined the game?
Because he had felt like he had ruined it, because if he because since the music is so important to the game, if it didn't come out perfect or the way he wanted it, it wouldn't be what he wanted. No?
Not really. I think he was maybe more worried that, I mean, from what I understand, I mean, I can't say definitively, but from what it sounds like, I would say that he was more worried that his song maybe doesn't match what the game devs wanted it to be. And so he ruined the game because the game devs are trying to match a song, but I mean that's kind of up to the game devs more than himself if they're allowing him to finish the song before the game's finished, right? Because a lot of times it works opposite, where like with movies too and stuff like that, where you're given a scene and then you kind of write the music around the scene as opposed to the other way around.
So this level, like the slow parts at the very beginning, that's where your character freezes over, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And then when it packs up and powerful, that's when you're flying through. And then when it kind of like levels out after that like really powerful moment, that's where, like I said, it was my second favorite level. It's beautiful. You're jumping from peak to peak, surrounded by a sea of clouds, gliding your way to your destination. At the very end, you get a little surfing section again. Not as long and not as standout as Rota Trials scene was, in my opinion. But brings it all to a wonderful close by the time you get to the top of the mountain, and you kind of just walk, and then it just kind of cuts to white. Right? Like you're there, your journey's complete, and I think that was always a beautiful way to end it. And to be honest, I've never played anything like this game before.
I don't think anyone's really played this game before, like this kind of genre to some extent.
Mhm.
But like the style of game, I can't think of one that has ever represented whatever Journey was trying to do, in the sense that it's a walking sim, right? Like, I mean, the only game that comes to mind after this is Stranding, whatever the fuck,
Stranding.
Death Stranding.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
Kojima actually has good taste in music too. He's got some pretty good bangers in his games.
but I'm just saying that, like, other than a game where you're walking through an environment and trying to, like,
To your destination.
yeah, I mean, like, what game can you think of that's like that? I'm on Steam right now. I'm sure I can look up walking sim and I'm not going to get a ton of hits. I'm not saying there isn't a game out there that represents this, or a
What's
game out
that
there that
camping
isn't like
game
this.
where you play a ranger? It's like Firewatch or something like that.
I really want to say the word Rust, but I know that's not what it is. But
Oh.
I know what you're talking. You're like a fire ranger, right?
Yeah, it's a fire. Oh, it's called
Yeah.
like Rust.
But
Rust. Fuck,
is that
it's called Firewatch.
yeah, is that the same though? Because you still
Well, it's
have,
still an artsy game with a
yeah,
different
but you have
message.
duties in that game, right? Like, there's things that happen in there that you need to take care of. This is more of a game being like, your whole entire, like, the whole entire point of this game is getting from point A to point B. There's no like C, D, E, F, or G. Like, there's no.
Well, I mean, you can pick up more scarves and stuff like that, and you can
But
like. I,
that's not really, that doesn't make the game more difficult.
it's not
Like, to
supposed to be
get them.
difficult.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say, right? Is that you're getting from where you start to the top of that mountain, and anything in between doesn't really matter.
No, you're
Like,
not wrong.
you don't need to look for those scarves. Like, they're not a necessity to finish the game or anything else, right? They're there to do it, but they're not a necessity. You can finish the game without them.
What's the point?
But you're literally starting at one point and you are ending to finish the game. It's not like Mario where you have like 8 different, there's 8 worlds and 20 different levels. You're trying to get from
I
A
can
to B,
argue
B
that
to C, C to D, E
you
to
can
F.
still argue that it's still you start at one point and get to the end.
But yeah, but there's a lot of different endings. There's a lot of different, there's a lot of different challenging moments throughout that game to get where you're trying to go. Maybe not in the sense of power ups, but
At the same time,
worlds.
it's a different type of game, right?
It's a platformer, right? You're
Yeah.
trying to survive in that game, in the sense that you're trying to, like, avoid things that can kill you. In this game, no, like, at the end, you're trying to avoid things that kill you. Don't get me wrong, but it's not as hard as anything you've played before. I
So
mean, you say yourself, you never got hit once, right? I mean, I was an idiot. I got hit a few
I
times,
never got
but
hit once.
yeah. So, like, it's
Uh,
easy to get from point A to point B and making it there.
that's true. But, I think at the end of the day, Andrew, So we've gone through all the songs. We talked about the man behind the music and everything like that. The only question I really have left for you is like, what was your experience through this game? Like, is it a positive
Probably
one?
it wasn't. Yeah, sure. Positive is probably a good word for it. Wasn't life changing. I mean, like I said earlier, I've listened to a lot of nerdy podcasts that have recommended this game and to play through this game, and I've wanted to play through this game, and doing this podcast gave me a reason to play through this game. Did I walk away from it differently? No. Did it change my views on video games? No. So in other words, it wasn't incredibly impactful for me, but it was different. I think it's an experience everyone should definitely give a try, and I think it has some like teaches some nuance teaches about what we experience in our own lives and how our own lives are of a journey. And you're laughing, but I'm
No,
dead serious.
no,
Like
it's just the way you said it teaches.
failure is not the end, is what this game is trying to say. Is
Yeah,
that if you fail, it is not the end, and you can continue on, which is to me what this game is trying to say.
it's actually a
And
very beautiful lesson.
that's everyone's journey, right? Is that you're gonna hit ups and downs, but every time you hit a down, you keep going.
See, the thing, I wouldn't say it's changed my like opinions on games, but it definitely has left its mark on me, I believe. Just because of the fact that like I've never would have liked that game, like these kind of games before, right? Just because of the like you said, it's not really eventful. There's like it's mainly just walking and everything like that. It's an artsy game. It's not there's not like a whole lot to do. But um game changed my opinion on that. It changed what classifies as a game for me, right? Like I said, I enjoyed sliding down the mountain to the road of trials so much that when I was rereading this and getting like little memory flashbacks, right? I was smiling of like pure joy because like I said, it touched me. The game was very touching and I really liked the whole experience. Right? The music, the gameplay, the world, right? I loved it a lot and I loved everything they went for it. So I would rate this up there of some of my favorite games I've ever played.
Probably wouldn't go that high. I don't think it's. I mean, then
At
again, we
least
had
for
a
you.
conversation. Well, yeah. Well, yeah, but we had a big conversation about games that hit us impactfully. Yeah, it's not. It's tough for me. I have a lot of games on that list, and I don't
It's
think I've
no
really played
Advance
any of
Wars.
those. Yeah, definitely no Advanced Wars. It's no tactics game in any shape and or form. So I mean, like, I love tactic games. Like, I'm actually playing through XCOM right now, but
He fucking loved Advance Wars.
fuck, I'm still playing it. You know that. You saw me play it
I did.
earlier. What the
I did
fuck?
see you
Yeah.
play it. I wasn't impressed.
Yeah. Fuck you. Anyways, I think yeah, it wasn't supremely impactful for me, and that it wasn't enough to break like let's say my top 10, but it definitely was like it gave me a different. I experienced a different genre, and it gave me a different, more artistic view on video games. Not that I say I don't have an artistic view on video games I play, but it amplified that, I
I
guess,
wasn't gonna
maybe.
say anything until you had to clarify there. Now I'm a little nervous
Yeah,
here. What are you doing here, Andrew?
it was more of a it was boring, but it was an experience to say the
It was
least.
boring in a beautiful way.
It was an experience. It was an experience, right? And you can't hate it till you try it, right?
Speaking
And
of
yeah,
listeners, you can always email us at onepodcast4nerds, and I'd like to hear your opinion on this game. Are you with Andrew, who says it's boring and not great, not amazing in every single aspect, or are you like
I get
me,
a lot of
who's
hate email.
or you're like me, who thinks it's a Chad level game with a Chad level story,
That
and
doesn't make it better. That does not make it better.
um,
That
and
does not make it better.
yeah, it does. All right, Andrew, don't interrupt me. I am doing an ad read
I've
here.
apologized every other time, but like I'm not gonna lie, saying something is a Chad does not make it better.
No, you're not wrong. Or you really enjoyed the experience that you had, right? And thought that it did the lesson it was trying to tell quite well. So, but I'm genuinely curious about what you guys want to say to this, and
Remember, we will read your emails out online if you email us at onepodcastfornerds@gmail.com.
I was trying to get at. So, just for the ending, because you guys thought I would miss it, just like every other episode. But Andrew does have a blood pact for me to say
I
to
also
you.
do have an announcement after his blood pack is fulfilled. But yeah,
Um,
go on.
if you like what you hear, remember you can support us on Acast support system, which you can find in the description below every episode. Also, you can go to mainjams.com, which you can also find a link to in the bottom, and buy a wicked 1P4N mug or plenty of really cool designed clothing. Like I actually really like some of the hoodies he has on there.
You know, they're
Um,
really good. Yeah.
but make sure that when you get the 1P4N mug, it has that great and feel trademark Nolan's
A
logo,
Nolan
also
slogan.
trademark. A Nolan's
No, no,
logo,
no. A Nolan slogan.
also
That's
trademarked.
good.
You're so proud of
I know.
yourself. You guys can't see the fucking webcam right now, but he's literally smiling. This is the
Let's be
biggest smile
honest.
I've ever seen him have in a long time.
Nolan slogan is pretty funny. Um, on that side note, just an update on the Discord and Reddit. We are currently working on the Discord. It's more or less halfway done.
Added three
Uh,
bots.
yeah, I added a few bots to it because it's more you guys fucking around in a sense that doesn't make other people comfortable. That worries me. But yeah, so we're trying to get the bots going and stuff like that, and I'm super excited to have everyone join and super excited for everyone to like get into it because we have a lot of listeners across the lands and it's great. I'm super excited to meet all of you and talk to all of you and have a great conversation. We are also going to try really hard. I don't know how it's going to work, but I really want to do it to where you guys can kind of like, I don't know how I'm going to make it work, but we're going to try to avoid Twitch in a sense that like you guys can come watch us record the episode. Unfortunately, not participate because that's a whole fiasco I kind of don't want to deal with. But being able to talk to us as we record and all that stuff is would be really cool and to get your guys' feedback and opinions on stuff, questions or whatever, right? And being able to read those live as we record it would be sweet. So I'm gonna try and make that work. And yeah, just meeting all of you and appreciating for everything you guys do and all our listeners out there. It's great. We appreciate it. We've been doing it for a while. It's a slow go. We're at 250 listeners. For
Wow.
some reason, you guys really like our Gotham Knights episode.
Because it's a good episode.
I guess so. I was like, should I go re-listen to this and see what we do great about it? Probably our highest ranking episode for whatever reason. But yeah, it's great. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that one for sure, and all the others that we do. Yeah, we're also probably in the midst of rebranding again for the like third time, fourth time. I don't
Billionth
really know.
time. Yeah.
Billionth time.
Yeah.
We're gonna go a little more mainstream in the sense of being just a nerdy talk show and maybe talk show wasn't the right word, but a nerdy show to where we just talk about everything and kind of stick to what you guys heard last episode. Before this one, maybe with Austin not talking so much about the Olympics, but you know, we'll kind of talk
Okay,
about that as we
okay.
go.
It was so cool, Andrew. But so to sort of cut you off here during your like very heartwarming thing, but like, dude,
That's fine. I earned it.
she fucking ran faster than I've ever seen before. Everybody else, all the other countries are like back here, fucking at the starting line, and they're already at the finish. All right, so like, man, Olympus was dope, and you guys should really watch that clip because that relay race was awesome.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm acknowledging everything he said because I respect him as a person. And so please look forward to everything. Please do email us. We have a ton of listeners. I know, not to sound creepy, I know where everyone kind of comes from. Like what countries everyone emails us, and honestly, like, I mean, still the U.S. is beating us, so come on, everybody, let's get our shit together. But I mean, not that I have anything against the U.S. We already flaunted that boat like 2 episodes ago with Austin's comments on some shit. But anyways,
What did I comment on?
I think you called them a Yankee fucking whatever when they were shooting each other over
Oh,
Pokemon cards. Yeah, you sailed that boat. But
yeah.
anyways, so
It's
I'm
because
just
it's
kidding.
over Pokemon cards, man.
I know they're still our top listeners, which is great. I just want to really make it a contest. But yeah, please do email us. onepodcastfrienders@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from all of you. If you guys want to be anonymous and just ask us questions without reading your, names or give us fake names, I mean, remember, we're cool with that. And it would just be a lot of fun. It'd be a huge new segment to the show. And, you can ask us questions about our personal life, the games we like, whatever, like we're into it. And yeah, I think that's all I have. Please look forward to the Discord channel. The Reddit one's going to come a little later because I kind of don't care that much about it. If Discord really takes off, that's great. Being able to contact you guys on a regular basis as opposed to going through Discord doesn't really seem, or sorry, on Reddit, is kind of moot in the most part. But
It's for me.
it's just nice to be able to do whatever people feel comfortable with, right? Like I don't really post on Instagram anymore, or One Podcast Frienders on Instagram is mostly just people that run other podcasts that I don't give two shits about. And I mean, we have a few, we have listeners that are on there, but they don't really message me or anything like that. And they don't, and yeah, so it's just full of crap I don't care about.
Oh.
But yeah, that's all I have.
Well,
that's it.
Thanks for coming,
That's
man.
it.
I appreciate it.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm here. All right.
Waited a long time to film this fucking episode.
Yeah, it took a while. Hey.
I wrote this. All right, just
May 26th.
May 26th, and I had the last paragraph was written on the 29th.
No, I know. I looked. All right, everybody. Let's peace out.
Bye.